So a quick allotment job before work starts, and today I am planting 3 rhubarb plants and then sowing some organic sage and organic thyme. Now the rhubarb plants came as transplants, as organic transplants from Delftland nurseries. And what I've tried this time is I potted them on, and I've left them in the pots for a couple of weeks, and it seems to have been pretty good. I've had some transplants before that I've planted out straight away and they just haven't survived, so I figured this time I'd give them a bit of time to acclimatise before putting them in the ground. So I put them in some compost. They already had some soil that they were growing in anyway. Put them in the pots, and some of the stems did wilt, so I've picked those out, but these stems here look pretty strong and they should be ready to be planted into the bed, which is over here. So it's at the end of one of the rows, the beds, and they need to be spaced 90 centimeters away from each other. I already had one rhubarb plant here, which I actually moved from over there, over the other side. Not sure if it's doing well or not, but only time will tell. So I've already marked out where I'm going to plant, so there and here. Now we're a family of 3, so probably 4 rhubarb plants is all good, and then that also leaves enough space over here where I'm going to be putting some fruit canes later in the year. So first job is to dig the holes and make some space to transplant the rhubarb from the pots. Got the hole dug just deep enough. I quite like actually digging a bit further down than I need, and then filling it again with some nice soft soil. I just figure it helps the roots to push through the soil. Entirely non-scientific, just what I think. And then I've got the transplant just here, which the base is a bit crumbly because the roots haven't actually grown through the compost just yet. So I'm going to pick that up gently, pop it in to the hole, and then just gently crumble in the soil so it goes around the edge, fills the ground nicely. And then I'm not really going to pat it down, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to water it in, which is a much gentler way of compacting the soil around the plant. So that's the first one in. I'm going to do the same with the second and third ones over there. There we go, that's all 3 in, and so last job here is to gently water them in, because it's just going to naturally compact the soil down, so you're not going to crush the roots. Give it a really good watering so it can soak down nice and deep. Hopefully we'll keep getting a bit of rain like we have the last couple of days. Hopefully this is just enough, but not too much. And then there we have it, a quick job to get the rhubarb transplanted. So next on the list is sage and thyme. Now with these two, I'm not actually doing it the way the instructions say, so I'm just going to see how it goes. I'm not going to bother putting them in trays first, growing them to seedlings and then transplanting them. I'm just going to try. So what I want to do is build up a really nice ecosystem in the allotment where everything's working naturally together. So I'm going to have a go at putting sage in one corner, thyme in another corner, sage in another corner, thyme in another corner, so it sort of encloses the area where I'm going to be growing fruit and vegetables. So all I'm going to do is sprinkle in the seeds, pat them over and water them in, and fingers crossed. These are the sage seeds, fairly decent size seeds, a bit like mini mini bits of lead shot or cannonballs or something. Obviously nowhere near as destructive. And what I'm going to do, I've just got a small amount here, so I'm just going to spread them sort of across here. Now it should, as a plant, it should spread quite nicely, so I'm figuring that it needs a bit of space to grow, just around here. And then all I'm going to do is bring back across the soil that I've moved out of the way, give them a bit of a covering, which I suppose is what I would have been doing if I had sowed them in seed trays. Bit of a pat down, and then a water in. Not too much, hopefully just enough. And then there goes the experiment. Let's see if they grow. And lastly, these are the thyme seeds. They're absolutely tiny, so you'd be easy to lose them. So I'm going to do the same. Put them in the prepared ground, cover them over, see what happens. The reason I'm planting them around the edge as well is because I'm actually going to move that central path over winter, because I put it in the wrong place. So this side of the plot is 3 meters wide and the other side's 4, and I want it to be equal. So so next year, hopefully, if the thyme and sage establish themselves around the outside corners, then next year, once I've moved the path, I'm going to also plant some perennials inside. And the other reason for perennials, well, apart from attracting beneficial insects and wildlife, the other reason for the perennials is to help attract mycorrhizal fungi in the soil, which the fungi around one plant can grow to the size of 1 to 2 football fields, and they are with hyphae, which is their sort of branches, I suppose, under the ground, that can transport water and nutrients from a long way away, which means they're going to help to water and feed the plants. So that is another reason for the perennial crops. So this is the last job today, and then I'm going to shoot back home, have some breakfast and start work.